Everyone. I know it was going to be a small cohort to begin with anyway. I'm sure some people will join later, but there's quite a bit to cover, and we do have 3 sponsors joining us to provide their expertise and experience that they've had being a sponsor on the program. Hubert Arts, Mohammed, that goes by Mo Sahil, and Peter Spano, who's in the London LCP room, but he is Peter. So I'll kick off really quickly. It'll just be about 7 minutes of me just giving a brief overview of the program again, and then sort of the expectations of being a sponsor. And then I will pose 2 questions to the current sponsors to provide some guidance or feedback on their experience, and then open it up to the floor. So it should be, I think, quite straightforward. Let me move some things around and share my screen, and we can get to the right slide. Okay. Sorry, I've got 3 screens here. Here we are. All right. I just quickly wanted to start with giving you an understanding of what the program offers, what the participants will be going through. It's a 12-month program beginning in January with around 30 sessions. They're sort of every other week, and that also includes some virtual workshops. They're highly interactive sessions. We do case studies, there's group work, there's simulations, everything to give the participants a real feel for what it's like on the desk. And for those that may not have any investment experience, we offer a 2-day technical boot camp, and that helps just build their foundational knowledge so they can hit the ground running in January. And we also provide a bit of additional help to those that are not from an investment background throughout the course as well, just to make sure that they're getting the most out of it and don't feel left behind. But that's all I wanted to sort of highlight here, because I really want to spend most of the time with this talking about the sponsors. And just as an FYI, if you are a sponsor, we will have another one of these sessions after we've finalized a cohort, just before the orientation. We'll go into more detail and you'll get to meet all the other sponsors as well. But moving on briefly, just the curriculum. Sorry. So this is what we will cover throughout the year next year. We've added a new area this for 2026, which is private markets. We get quite a few women that join from the private markets background or with an interest in private markets. So as we are always improving the program, we've now decided to add 5 sessions around private markets, really from origination to exit or long-term incorporation into your ongoing portfolio. And the things I wanted to highlight here, so this is sort of what we hope that you would be able to provide a bit more color to the participants if there's things that aren't really clear to them at the end of a session. You can provide more context. And 1 or 2 of the things that we really hope that you would be excited about are the Model Portfolio Project, which is a 6-month group portfolio simulation. So we split them all into groups of like 5 or 6 next year. And they get to create a model portfolio, multi-asset model portfolio, rebalance that on a monthly basis, come up with their investment thesis. And of course, we hope that you would be able to provide them with a bit of guidance around their investment thesis, or if they have questions around any of the current events or data that's happening that might impact their rebalancing decisions or allocations. Those are sort of the things we're hoping that you will be able to provide help and guidance for. And the second sort of big thing I wanted to pick out from here is the career development plan, which we introduced in February. And it's really an opportunity for them to think about where they want to go in the next 5 years and 2 years and sort of work backwards. And so getting your input from someone that's been, experienced in the industry for a while and knows what a realistic career path is, hoping that you can provide some guidance to them around their goals and ideas and how to really make those into a reality. It's split across 3 pillars. We focus on investment expertise with technical skills. The application and investor thinking really gives them a good foundation on the applied practice, which I talked about, the Model Portfolio Project. For those in the trading track, they have a trading strategy challenge where they'll design, test, and present their trading strategy. That's led by Ed Wicks at Legal & General. And then the last bit is around the soft skills, which we've titled Leadership and Career Influence. And we do a lot of work, one around the career development plan, but also around just helping them understand how to navigate their personal lives alongside their career, how to network, how to move or get into the front office if they're not, build their brand, all the things that you need to really build a long-standing career in an investment industry. So that's all I will talk about the program, and then I'll come to the important bits, which is being a sponsor and sort of why it matters. It's really an important part we see. I'm sure that all of you have had sponsors throughout your career that have really helped boost you, your career progress. And so that's sort of where this notion of assigning each participant a sponsor has come from, just to give them another boost for their career. It really also helps in their skill development, in their confidence, when they can talk to someone that's experienced, especially within their firm. They feel less like they're alone and like they have someone that also has their back. And of course, providing those all important critical industry connections. We know that a lot of our, I can speak for myself, I won't speak for everyone, but a lot of my progress was all because of my network. And I think you, as you go on, you very seldom do you interview coldly for roles. It's more that your network is really the ones that are pulling you forward. And on the firm side, of course, is sort of how it impacts the participants. But on the firms, of course, there's to strengthen your leadership pipeline, help you with succession planning, right? And of course, demonstrate your firm's commitment to closing gender gaps in finance. And then I think this is sort of the last bit, is just what is your role? I sort of touched on this already, but it's 4 pieces. So advocating, mentoring, supporting, and engaging. And on the advocate side, right, that's championing your participant, making sure they get exposure to opportunities for stretch assignments. Some have done job shadowing, which has been really great for those that don't have the direct connection to a desk. They can sit side by side with someone and see what it's like on a day-to-day basis. Of course, leveraging your network where it makes sense. Serving as a really critical mentor to help guide them through the career journey. This is something that comes out of the Pathway program, but we hope that it's something that keeps going afterwards, and that you get the benefits of it and are invested in their career success. A lot of the mentoring is also around understanding the challenges that they might be facing, and helping them, providing guidance on how to navigate those maybe more difficult or sensitive topics in their career. Of course, supporting them with access to firm resources, advice, discussing the session content, right? How do I put this into context in terms of what we do at our firm and our investment process and thesis? And then, of course, engagement. It's always important that you engage, meeting with them at least on a monthly basis. Most of the sponsors meet monthly. Some meet a little bit more often and on an ad hoc basis, but finding a cadence that works and scheduling them all at the beginning so that we know they happen. We do also offer events that are targeted for the sponsors and participants. The participants are always excited to have opportunities to network with the sponsors. So we do have a couple of events throughout the year. We have another one coming up on the 15th of September at Morgan Stanley, where we've extended the invite to the sponsors. If not yet, will come soon for those that are on the call. But we do sort of these events where we think there's a topic that's more relevant, not just to the participants, but will be quite interesting to those that are more senior. So the upcoming one is on ESG and how that may have, how that is morphing and changing now and in the future. And so we do touch on topics like that we hope you find interesting, and we'll encourage you to attend, not just to support your participant, but also to learn something new about the investment industry. Of course, we always welcome feedback from you, the sponsors, and then also, of course, to the participants. We cannot improve without feedback. I'm a very big proponent of feedback. I love it, I love it, I love it. Without it, you really don't know if you're doing good or bad. So it's always great to get more than not enough. And then I think this is just sort of a recap of what I was saying. So what the participants have noted is helpful, which is meeting monthly, being a sounding board, having honest and useful advice on work situations. I mean, it's all the things that you know you would want a mentor or a sponsor to be for you. That's exactly what we're hoping that you would be for the participant. And I think I've done that in my 7 minutes that I allotted to myself. So I will take a step back And I'll allow each of the sponsors to introduce themselves because they'll do a much better job than I will. Peter's at the top of my box, so I'm going to start with Peter. If you don't mind introducing yourself, and then I'll kick it over to Hubert, and then Mo, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peter Speno. I work for State Street Investment Management. I head up the EMEA Fixed Income Index Portfolio Management team. Been with the firm for 18 years now, and I've been involved with this program for 2 or 3 years now. So we are within our second year of having participants in the program, and actually are now within the final stage of finding and selecting the participants for next year.
Hubert, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Thank you, Sheila. I'm Hubert Arts, working at Impax Asset Management. That's a buy-side asset management firm. We had 2 candidates this year, one in the trading track and one in the portfolio management track. Both of them, I think, are very, very keen to continue that for the rest of the year because they learn a lot. They, the trader, as an example, which was interesting, she's many years of experience, but she said, well, it was interesting for her to step out of equities into commodities and fixed income as well. So even if you have someone who has experience, I still believe that there is so much more to learn in that track and continue their career path. And on the portfolio management side, of course, very good what Sheila explained as well. We call it the simulation of portfolio management, talking to other portfolio managers, talking to other people that have not had portfolio management experience, and even share with them what you do know. I think Sheila and Emma, you might know that we are looking in the organization to see what we can do next year as well, especially now with the addition of the private markets session. I think that there's some interest there as well, but we haven't, because what you need, of course, you need to find the candidates, and then the candidates need to say, well, yes, I'm willing to do that. And then you need to find the mentors to help them to get to where they want to be. So was that enough, or?
Yeah, no, plenty.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mo Sahel, so I run trading at Saracen and Partners. So a little bit like Herbert, we've had 2 people join the program this year, one on the trading side and one on the PM. So given I run trading, it's been quite good to work with somebody who's sort of been aspirational towards the trading side, and somebody who's been in the industry for a few years now. So it hasn't been just a graduate position that we've looked at that. It's been somebody who's worked for about 20 years and looking to try and transition into trading. And it's been interesting just to try and work with them to try and help them navigate the environment.
Thank you all. I think I just have 2 questions that I wanted to pose to the sponsors before I open it up to the audience for questions. But if you are in no particular order, what has being a sponsor meant for you, and what advice might you give to new sponsors that might be helpful as they prepare for their journey ahead? I might pick up just because you finished speaking already. But anyone can go.
I'm happy to go. So what advice would I give? So good question, actually. I would say be genuine, firstly. And I think one of the things that's kind of come out from my experience is not to sort of make it almost a formality. So although the monthly catch-ups have been good for myself and for the person that I'm sponsoring, sometimes it's been ad hoc, and it hasn't always been like a strict agenda or anything like that. It's been more of a case of having a broader conversation. And although the word sponsor is used quite a lot, it almost becomes a little bit like a coach side of things. So we've spent a lot of time just talking about career, not just in terms of the Pathway project, things outside of work, things how to network. So it's been much more broader. So I wouldn't say just focus particularly on the PM or on the trading side. It's a little bit more wider than that.
I mean, from my side, and like to your question of what it means for me to be a sponsor, it's first of all, and doing some additional advert for you, the program is great. I mean, it's been really useful for the participants, seeing what they can get out of it. But for me, there's 2 sides to the program. One is the content you provide, which is really good. but also the reason why we're here today is really the ask for all the firms to provide the sponsors for the participants. So it's not something where you sign up people and they can go away and do it in their time, but really grouping them with people who will act as their sponsors, which on one side, and we went through the different parts what it is to be a sponsor. It is very similar to a mentor, but for me, it was always more. We probably all of us on the call were involved in some level of mentoring relationship before, but for me, the way I approached this program was, in addition to act as the sounding board, someone they can come to have a discussion about their career, is as well very much to be a champion for the participants for any potential roles. Because I think the trickiest bit is whenever there are open roles, either in portfolio management or trading, we all get lots of CVs. You get lots of CVs from people in operations in different parts of the organization. And it's, in most cases, you might not know those people very closely. So really being able to work with someone, understand how good they are, it helps you look at them differently when you get their CVs, but also using your contacts or connections with other parts of their organization. Like thinking about me specifically over the last year, I spent time with other members of the investment teams that potentially might not have open roles yet, but might be looking to do it in the future to really talk about your participants, your sponsoree, to really put them on the forefront of, we do have this great talent within the organization. And actually at the moment, we do have one open role within the investments organization. And I did spend time talking to the hiring manager about one of our participants from last year would be a perfect candidate for that. And ultimately, this can be with the knowledge of the participants, but even without, we all are involved in lots of discussions and talking about talent within the organization. And I think bringing that talent to the forefront, I was very surprised when we started in the program a few years back, sending out an email to say whoever might be interested to apply. The number of people who applied, I was very surprised. And in many cases as well, their respective managers were surprised that they have people in the teams that actually are keen on that path to be a portfolio manager or trader. Ultimately, as a sponsor, what it means for all of us, I think it's a great thing to do to help talent. We all had someone who helped us along the way. It's not easy to get within portfolio management or trading, and it is great as well to see them all graduate at the end of the year. Just for the ones who might not be aware of this, the program ends with the graduation at the end. So as a sponsor, to see your participants on the stage there, it's quite a proud moment, especially if they present their final project or in some cases win. So that was quite a proud place to be.
Thanks, Peter. Hubert, did you have any additional words?
Well, there's a lot indeed been said. I think the three things are what I wrote down. What I thought was interesting also on the first evening that we had sort of get to know the people and the sponsors and so the mentees and the mentors. I asked them, how do you select your mentor? And often it was a line manager. And I thought, well, for me, that wouldn't really be the first choice. What we've done, which I think was quite helpful, is to first ask people, do you want to be part of this program? And secondly, then, who would you like to have as a mentor? Because it's not always the best case to have your line manager, because then it becomes sort of an official work relationship. And I think you mentioned that I see Mohammed, I can't remember sort of Peter's name. I think, yeah, Peter mentioned that. So that is one thing I think is very important, that we continue to do that, to ask them. Secondly, I think, and I hear what you say, that it's about career, it's about promotion, maybe even higher pay levels, etc. But for me, it's more about telling the candidate, this is personal development path. This is a personal development path. This is a program. This is a path. That doesn't mean that, and I saw your statistics, so many people have been promoted or had a pay increase, etc., then it becomes very much a lot of, oh, I should be part of this pathway thing, because that would mean I'm going to get a promotion or I get a better job or better pay. And then it becomes not what it should be. I think it should be personal development. If you reach certain stages quicker because of that, that is for me, what I think is important for the candidates. So that is important. Otherwise, you get disappointing results at the end of the year, or I didn't get a promotion, doesn't mean I'm not good enough. But maybe there is no vacancy, or maybe there is no, maybe you're not ready yet for the next step, although you've learned quicker and your learning path has been steeper because of pathway. It doesn't mean that you're getting promoted quicker, etc. So a bit of caution on over promising, let me say it that way. And then this third thing is that when you are part as a mentor of the program, always make sure that you, indeed, and that's been said as well, that you have time, that you put something in at the beginning of the year. You tell the candidate, put something in every month, an hour or half an hour with us, so it doesn't slip. Because if you do it on a monthly basis and you put in a meeting month after month, it gets forgotten. So if put something in for the whole year, for the next year, sit down, even if it's only for 5 minutes. Nothing to say, okay, ask them, what did you learn? What was your program last week? So show interest and let them explain sort of what they've learned and where they want to be. Is it helpful for your career? What are you missing on your path to the next stage? What are you missing from pathway? Can we top it up, or can we talk to pathway, etc., etc.? That's it for me, those three things. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you all for your feedback and input. I'll open it up to the audience members, Elena or Alexandra. Do you have any questions for me or for Hubert, Mo, or Peter?
No, just thank you very much for your time. I think it's been really helpful to hear the different experiences. Having been sponsors in the program, it's my first time doing this. And the person that I'm partnered up with is very proactive. So we have the monthly catch-ups in the diary, but I've also been talking about things like shadowing. So currently they're not sitting in an investment role. I sit within investment advisory. And so it's very much where can we sort of share knowledge and help them build that exposure really in the organization.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Fantastic. That's great. They've been so proactive as well.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And so I think from my side, something that's valuable about this program as well is the opportunity to hear from different organizations how they've approached this program, and perhaps more of what you've seen sort of towards the tail end of the program. Are you seeing, that point on sort of seeing people transition maybe into new opportunities, staying within the firm, what that looks like for the candidates who've gone through that program?
Yeah, most have stayed within their firms. I think we've had a handful, so a handful, 5 or less, that have moved on to another firm for an investment opportunity that presented itself. Ironically, most of those moves have been to other member firms, so they haven't strayed far, I guess, at least from the DP universe, as it were. But most tend to stay within. The first year we had 60 participants. Most of them were junior portfolio managers, or right on the cusp of being promoted to a portfolio manager, and so they sort of used the program as a finishing school, if you like. And so naturally, then those handful of people, those 30, were promoted then within the year following, because they were sort of right there, ready to be promoted. In the last 2 years, so this year and 24, I think we've had maybe 5 or 6 that have been promoted internally. And that's because now I think the firms have expanded the pool to be much broader, not just those that are sort of already in an investment role or adjacent that are ripe for promotion, but they've been, so we ask the nominators to let us know how many years it is until you think they will become a portfolio manager. And on average, those are around 3 to 5 years. So then we don't expect any promotions to come in the next year if they do. So that's sort of it. I'd say overall is about, out of the 240, around 30% have been promoted or moved laterally to a closer investment role. Sorry, Peter, you also came out.
I was going to say, indeed, and I think you raise a very good point there in terms of being honest as well with the participants, because again, you organize all these informational call once, some of them for sponsors, some of them for potential participants. One thing which I did notice, and I've been very proactive to be very upfront with people, is that it is a program that isn't linked to a role. It is to help participants to be on the right path. But you often see some potential candidates who very much think there is a role waiting at the end of the program. And I think it's all about being honest, but as well honest about the fact that what the program is giving the participants, rather than being assured, guaranteed basically paths to be a portfolio manager. Of course, there is always lots of work to be done by everyone to be at the level where they need to be, but also as well, we all know it's all about being as well in the right time, and because roles obviously are not open all the time. But I think that's very key as well when as well selecting participants, but as well starting that relationship with your particular sponsoree. But what Elena said, maybe to add to that, I was going to mention as well, and as she said, shadowing, I think it's very, very good idea. We've done that with all our participants over the years, really giving them the opportunity to actually understand what is it to be a portfolio manager. Because I know Hubert mentioned about the pay and people being keen on that progression, but we all know that it's not necessarily always the most glamorous job as people might think being a portfolio manager or trader to be. So it's always good to be able to share how does your day actually look like, and spend a little bit more time with them to understand what they actually could be potentially looking as a career opportunity.
Thanks, Peter. Alexandra, I think you came out of mute. Yeah.
Thank you. No, that's really helpful. It's cleared up a little bit.
Sorry, I don't know if it's just me, but I can't. Yeah, your mic maybe. No, not especially. Is it just me that I can't hear, or can anyone else hear Alexandra? All right.
It's for all of us.
Okay.
Well, anyway, all good.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, I heard you say all good. So, so I got the most important bit. All right. Well, fantastic. I mean, it's pretty quick, brief, but I just wanted to provide you all at least with an opportunity to hear what it's like to be a sponsor from some of our top sponsors themselves, and look forward to seeing you all later on in the year as we progress. So if you have any questions, I'm always around. Drop me a note, pathway@Diversity Project or Shaila@Diversity Project. But thank you all. And thank you, Hubert, Mo, and Peter, for giving up your time. Very much appreciated.
Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, Anna.
Right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.